Crumb.
Hello, hello, and greetings, heathens and harlots.
The voice that gets you moist.
And the bard that gets you hard.
How you doing, my friend? You are the host of Getting Casual. That's what.
Yes, indeed, I am.
I thought so. It's hard to keep up. You've changed it. But I did want to talk to you because I've always had it in the notes, and I wanted to talk to you. You were a wrestler, correct?
I was for a brief period back in 2000.
Oh, okay. That's all I didn't know. I didn't know how long of a time span you were.
So unfortunately, I am undefeated. I'm a whopping 3-0. But unfortunately, I had a really bad weekend where I was both dropped on my head and had my labrum torn, which is a shoulder muscle tear. And that sucked ass, as you can imagine.
I can.
So I was just like, you know what? At the time, I was also playing guitar semi-regularly in bands and things.
Okay.
And you can't play guitar with a dislocated shoulder, and I still have not regained full use of that arm.
Shit.
So I decided to retire undefeated and call it a career.
Damn. I was going to ask what the gnarliest injury you saw, but that would probably be one that would be rough.
No, gnarliest injury I saw was actually it was worse than mine. Getting dropped on your head, that sort of happens when you're training, and it can happen. Yeah. The dislocation was a freak accident. It just happened to tear my labrum pretty badly. So that's whatever. But the worst one I saw was actually a kneecap dislocation. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with pro wrestling, but the move, the backbreaker, is basically where you pick your opponent up so that they're sideways. You're carrying them more or less like a baby. Okay. And then you drop them down over, like you do like a crunch. You drop them down over your quadricep, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, if you lose your balance, you end up dropping them for real on your knee. And that's what this young lady did. And her kneecap went down into her shin.
Oh, no.
Wow, that's almost as bad as a sex injury.
Almost. I actually have another fun story that I wanted to tell about pro wrestling.
Yes.
I was training with, she goes by Angelina Love now. She's in Ring of Honor. I knew her as something else back when she was starting out. And the guys train with the girls. We didn't have matches at the time, but the guys trained with the girls. So on training day, we're learning how to kick someone in the ribs. And so I'm like, okay, you would think that's easy, right?
Like a spin kick, or is this just like a karate kick? What kind of kick?
Right, what kind of kick?
So it's like a punt, basically.
Oh, okay.
The person gets on all fours, and the idea is you kick them in the ribs with your insole.
Okay.
So, but I was having a really difficult time. Like, I'm a gentleman, right? I'm not going to kick a girl.
No.
And then the class clown goes, just kick her like an ex-girlfriend. Well, that was the wrong thing because I just had a really nasty breakup.
No.
To this day, 20 years later, I still have the pink of her shirt on my boot.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Crumb.
It's okay. She got me back, and she kicked me right in the short rib. I couldn't breathe properly for 2 weeks.
See the one that got you?
Oh, yeah. In the business, they call that a receipt.
She was the woman scorned. She got you, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And she's also made a ton more money than I have in this. So I guess she wins.
Yes. She got the last laugh. Goddamn. What made you want to get into it?
I've been a fan. Looking back on it, I've been a fan since I was 8 years old. So that's 31 years.
I don't know when you started, but I started in the 80s as a kid. And I was telling Slim just before the show, just about my sons, how much they love it. And I found a tape while they were up over the winter of the Hell in the Cell with Undertaker and Mick Foley. And oh my God, it was just amazing. Wow. 14 feet. 14 feet Mick Foley dropped twice.
Yeah, well, the second one, as you know, wasn't supposed to break.
Yeah.
But they held it up with plastic rib ties. Like, come on, that's 600 pounds up there, dude. Like, do it better. Fuck.
His tooth was coming out of his nose, dude. He said he didn't. This is a tape I have, and it's got commentary from him. He said he did not remember after that. He did not remember the rest of the match, and there was a lot after that part. Like,
oh no, absolutely, I believe it. You go on autopilot. I've actually, if you follow along with, he's now in AEW, Jack Evans.
okay,
He came by Toronto to do an indie show, and he actually got a concussion right at the beginning of the match. He took a headlock wrong and ended up on his head. And he still worked the rest of the match. And, you know, he was scheduled to do a meet and greet, so I introduced my daughter because I'm a huge fan of his as well.
yeah,
And he was like, I do not feel good. And we're like, oh, dude, okay, so this is not, you know, Jack Evans. This is whatever the hell his real name is.
yeah.
Reaching out for help. So we grabbed him water, we grabbed him an ambulance, and he was more or less okay after that. But
Okay.
he did suffer a concussion like 10 feet away from me.
Man, and then like I said, I was even thinking like I don't know how many years later it was. Who was the guy that Chris Benoit from? He was from Canada, and he had suffered so many concussions that he murdered his whole family and all, like his kids
Okay.
and his wife. That was I think when they really started looking into like, yeah, we can't let these
Head
guys do
injuries,
this
like what? Yeah.
every week, every month, whatever it is, like.
And the worst part of it for me was that Chris Benoit was actually my favorite wrestler. And then I was like, oh shit, I can't even watch his matches anymore. I really can't.
Great. He was amazing. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
fucking loved him. Fuck yeah, it was really weird. I never seen either. Because I had stopped watching at that time. And my son showed me the video. This, like I said, like my son's loved wrestling, and my son showed me the video of when Eddie had the heart attack in the ring, Eddie Guerrero, and I was like, oh my god. And then you saw him like grab his chest and like go to a knee, and it was like, fuck, his face just looked like wrong, like something's wrong, and it was like, wow.
More concerning, how did your son find that? Like, what?
They watched. It's on the WWE. I don't know if they found that on the WWE YouTube, but they watch all the old videos on online. So on YouTube, yeah, it's just all up there.
It's public. I mean, I don't know how much international you're teaching your son about it, but Pero Agoyo passed away in the ring, like legit in the ring.
No, I don't know who that is, but that's still just.
Was that like a heart attack he had, or?
Unfortunately, broken neck.
Well, I don't know if you, I don't know if you remember, and it makes me laugh a little because I'm thinking of the Driz. But do you remember Draws from back in the '90s or like?
I do remember Draws. I do. Nobody has seen the actual incident because apparently it was taped for one of their like C shows.
Yes.
But he is now the owner-operator of a towing company, I believe, still in Colorado.
Cool, because I was going to say, I know he lived, but he broke his neck in the ring, right? I think after a drop.
Yeah, he broke his neck. He became a quadriplegic instantly. He is living life the best he can. He just did an interview a little while ago. He's doing great, right? Like, obviously, he's not Draws. He's Darren now.
Yes.
But, you know, I think it's a towing company or a farming company. Forgive me, I just sort of skipped over it. And believe it or not, the guy who injured him is still actually a coach in wrestling because accidents just happen that way.
Yeah.
It was D'Lo Brown, if you remember.
Oh yes, I love D'Lo.
You can't blame him for that. And Draws was the first person like, dude, it just happened.
I didn't
sit up properly. You weren't strong enough to do the move. Life happens. We move on.
Wow.
D'Lo's now a coach, I think, in Impact.
Wow. Who was the other? Oh goddamn, I can't even think of his name, and I don't remember. He's injured. He was another Canadian. He came to WWE, and I loved him. Christian.
Owen Hart.
Was it Christian? No, Owen Hart. I loved too. That was really. I saw that pay-per-view. I saw that goddamn pay-per-view.
Oh no. Christian, I think, just retired from like wear and tear injuries.
Okay.
Same thing. Edge.
Edge, yes. What, did Edge die or?
No. He's on. I don't know if you watched these type of shows, but he's on Vikings. I forget who he is, but he's legit on Vikings.
I wanted to watch Vikings. Wow, I did not know that. Okay, cool. And he was another one I wasn't sure of. Like I said, I have not watched in the longest time. So like some of the guys, I've just lost whatever, you know.
Yeah, it becomes difficult when you're watching a match now, and you think like, oh, 20 years ago, back when I was getting into it, 30 years ago, back when everybody in this match that I'm watching on WWE YouTube or the network or whatever, all of these guys are dead.
Yeah.
Like there one pay-per-view I watch, I think it's like SummerSlam 88, maybe.
Yeah.
And there are like 3 people alive from that pay-per-view.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yes. It's nuts. It's not. Yeah. It's not a long lifespan. Or like if you are lucky enough to still be alive, you can't barely walk.
You're just crippled.
You're lucky.
It's true.
If you can walk. Yeah. They abuse themselves.
Have you ever tried it though?
I did some backyard. I threw my buddy off a roof, and I got, I think, chokeslam through a table or something. Yeah, I lost my breath. I got the wind knocked out of me. I was not a fan of it.
But doesn't it get in your blood, and you're just like, man, I could do this forever?
Yeah, I wanted to do more. But yeah, nobody else did. None of my buddies did. Because that was back then. That was back when I first saw Mick Foley talking about how I think he got thrown off the roof of his house in New York. Yeah. I think we built an announcer table out of plywood and horses, and we put some bags of leaves under it, and it was on concrete. So yeah, the bags of leaves were gonna protect my buddy.
Gonna break your fall.
Yeah, but I think he hit his head. I think my boy Brian hit his head a little hard. But he's okay. He's still around. Man. Oh, but how's your show? Who is JD Slane, Crumb? I want to ask.
Okay, so that's sort of been in my head for about 20 years or so. I don't know if I mentioned one of the prior times I've been on here that I've always wanted to do adult work.
I don't know.
And I was sitting there thinking, you know what? Casual Crumb is the worst porn name I have ever heard of. Ever. So I need something better. And I had this name, JD Slane, in my head for I don't know how long. Largely because it's easy. JD is actually my initials.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try, because a buddy of mine, he went on my Pornhub where I post all the episodes and stuff, but I had also posted my adult content on there. And he sends me a Snapchat and goes, I nearly saw your dick. I'm sorry. And
is that I'm sorry or I'm sorry I came? Did he not?
He said, I'm sorry. And I was like, well, where did you see it? Because if someone's spreading mine around, I want to know. He's like, no. I went to your Pornhub to see how the episodes work over there. And I'm like, it's fucking YouTube for porn. How hard is it?
How hard is it? Huh?
Exactly. So he was like, I nearly, I scrolled down and I nearly saw your junk, and I don't think we have that kind of connection yet. And I went, so you know what? That as funny as it was, I'm like, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I should leave Casual Crumb for the show, and Getting Casual will have all of that, and then JD Slane will be its own thing when it's ready. I basically just grabbed all the URLs I could and made the profiles and whatnot for right now. So there's not much going on with it. Okay. But that's basically my my adult handle.
All right. That's out there. Slim will be looking that up.
JD Slane.
He's slain that pussy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Slain that poo-tang.
For all the pussy you've slain.
I didn't even think of that, so thank you very much.
That was the first thing I thought.
That was like a go Team Robin Slam. He's slaying that pussy. God damn.
And so when I did have some of the solo stuff up there, believe it or not, I have a lot of male fans. I was not expecting that.
Nice.
What I was also not expecting is I have almost an equal number of female fans. And for basically a straight male performer to have female fans, it's unicorn status. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Nice. You got to interview yourself on one of your shows. Then you got to do a Crumb interviews JD episode.
Do you know the worst part about hosting your own show solo is that when you don't have a guest, those episodes absolutely tank in terms of downloads?
I would never even consider it. It's got to be the hardest fucking thing ever, dude.
So I had a guest. Unfortunately, she got ill, so I couldn't schedule the interview, and I'm still not great at scheduling in the future. I'm better at it, but at the time I wasn't.
I used to be. So I've gotten sloppy with it. Recently, I've gotten later, last minute, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I was like, shit, I really don't have an episode this week. What the hell? Let's do a 2019 year in review and thank you to everybody for checking out the show and supporting me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just a good thing. It was only 20 minutes. It was nowhere near my normal fare.
Okay.
And the numbers absolutely tanked. I opened up my Podbean and was like, fuck.
I've always listened to your show, though. I've listened back before you had guests, and I've always enjoyed it. I've never not been, enthralled by your show. I always found it interesting and exciting.
And I appreciate that, but this was even outside of that. I didn't talk any adult news. I didn't do any speculation. I didn't even have any fun with the adult industry. This was just me basically 20 minutes of glad handing people and thanking them because I really did have a good 2019.
Yeah.
So I was just thanking everybody on my platform for enjoying my platform.
It would still be something that I would think your fans would enjoy. And the same amount.
Fair? Not so much.
Wow.
And that's okay. I mean, that's okay. I understand, when you're a guest, when you become a guest-driven podcast, because the solo efforts, I had a reasonable expectation for what I would get. But now that I'm a guest-driven podcast, I know that, the folks with more notoriety are going to get me more downloads, and the folks with lesser notoriety, unless they have an amazing following, are going to get me lesser downloads. And then now that I'm guest-driven, and they expect to hear another voice, nobody wants to listen to me blab for 20 minutes. And that's fine.
But if it's you being you, is another you, that might grab others.
Oh, it's deep.
Yeah. If it's you talking to you, if it's Crumb talking to JD, that might be a whole nother JD verse.
I might even be able to make that happen because I got the good mic that I'm talking to you gentlemen in, and then I've got a crappy USB mic, so I can even do both voices.
Or you could have Slim call.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be exciting at all.
No, well, he's going to write. It will be exciting, but it would just not sound as eloquent. It'll just be like, I'm Slim.
Yeah. I'm looking at your picture right now, Crumb, and you look like a villain in Cobra Kai.
I think that's a compliment.
Right. It's you look like an evil karate master.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is fun. The first time I've ever been called that was we had on...
So you've been called an evil karate master
You've not even shocked, Crumb.
No, honestly, I haven't watched Cobra Kai. I haven't seen The Karate Kid since the first year it came out. I didn't like the movie very much.
Right.
So I haven't watched Cobra Kai. But I was actually called a karate master on FetLife because I had this one picture that was poorly lit and poorly composed, and it was me in just a leather vest. And everybody was like, you look like a karate master, like a lucky karate master. And I was like, oh, fuck. That's not sexy.
You should, even if you don't know any karate, Crumb, you should do just karate porn. That should be your
karate porn.
Your sick.
Hey, I'm open to anything.
The Crumb kick. That could be
the Crumb.
That could be to the wrestling. You could just all full circle. It could all full circle all over everybody.
You're just naked in a black belt.
And your friends are apologizing they saw your dick.
I like the naked in a black belt thing,
right?
But I gotta have a sash too, like they do with Cobra Kai.
You gotta have some miracle bomb or something too, that wins you the match. You got some, I don't know, some sweet dragon
So my good buddies
Drool.
run a video game wrestling league, and so I am in the video game as Crumb.
That's
My finish is actually called the Blute Plug because it's an old nickname I used to have on a prior show I did. So I basically drop kick someone really hard into the corner, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's the Blute Plug!" And I'm like, "I like it. I'll take it."
That's God damn, I love it. Oh, Crumb, who's I don't know if you're gonna tell us, but who is your next guest?
My next guest is going to be a cam performer and clip artist, as many of them are. Her name is Melody Cush, and I highly, highly recommend you check her out. She is a French Canadian. I got to meet her in person, and I just did the video interview last week. I'm actually going to go into editing as soon as we're done here. Ooh. And she is absolutely amazing. She gave me an hour and a half of her time. I'm only going to post about an hour of it because there was some conversation that honestly was a little bit private, a little bit inside baseball for the adult industry, so I don't really want that to get out. But I really think people are going to enjoy this. Like, she went all out. She sometimes my guests take a laid-back approach, which is totally fine. It's getting casual, but she really did it up. Like, we're on her cam set. There will be video, of course. So we're on her cam set. Obviously, she's clothed. And she just went all out and was not afraid to answer anything. And I cannot be more proud of how this episode turned out.
Cool. I was going to ask, too, are you married? Are you a married man or in a relationship?
Yeah, I am a married man. You might have heard me mention Crises once or twice, maybe on Twitter.
Yes.
That is my wife.
Does your show ever interfere with does she ever get jealous, or does that ever become an issue?
It never once became an issue. And now she is not exactly the most open-minded sexually, but she is expanding her mind and her sensibilities very rapidly because of me and because of what I do. But I took her to the Everything to Do with Sex show, which is basically a whole bunch of sex-positive stores, and My Free Cams is actually the presenting sponsor. So you can actually hang out with cam girls. And the amount of positivity and love that she got from the cam girls really opened her mind to it. And then when my marketing coach, Amberly, who is fucking amazing, said, you should interview people and don't be afraid to be their first interview because everybody's going to remember their first interview. And so when I said, hey, babe, I'm going to start talking to adult stars. And, male, female, that's fine. It just so happens that I've interviewed mostly female at this point.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's fine. So every once in a while she'll come by while I'm editing and, I'll be doing the artwork and she'll be like, oh, who's that? I'm like, oh, it's this person. Oh, she's kind of cute. And then she just walks away because she knows there's literally nothing to be jealous about or worry about or anything. Like, I'm really trying. I have this love-hate relationship with my show, if I can be brutally honest.
Yes.
Where I'm really trying to be professional and I'm really trying to make it a career and make money, but I also have days where I could just delete the whole damn thing.
Man.
So I never want to get involved in any drama or anything like that. I'm all good to tell a story. I'm all good to do that, but I never get involved with any drama because I want to be seen as professional.
Cool.
In the industry, and I've gained a little bit of respect as a result of having done that.
I feel like you should. I feel like you've done enough, and I love you talking about Crises, supporting you like that. That's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing.
Well, I mean, there's not really anything going on. I mean, I have one who tried to be flirty and who tried to stay in character. Okay. And I just sort of had to pull that guest back from that and be like, oh, it's obviously I'm interviewing your adult star persona, but I want the person behind as well.
That's
because you guys have Ryder on pretty much. What is it, weekly now?
Well, it's been a while, but yeah, she was coming on. Was it every month or so? Back when we had her on a lot. She's going for her her graduate. Master's degree right now, so she's definitely consumed with all that. But we had her on like a lot.
Yeah, and it's no different than that, right? Like she's a professional, you guys are professional, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say. So there's no reason for anybody to be worried.
Yes.
I got her at the last Everything to Do with Sex show, going back to Crises for just a second. I got her to go into the, I guess, model of the swingers club that's near our city. So they literally brought a portable swings club to this convention. And they were like, go in, you can do whatever you want, you just got to sign the release form. And I was so surprised. She came in and she actually tried a Sybian.
What's that?
What's
The Sybian is the riding vibrator. It looks like a saddle, and you sit on it. You can do insertion, or you can do just clitoral vibration. You can do anal if you like. And it's got this giant remote. It looks like it's a detonator. And you can turn it all the way up, and it just brings the girls where they need to go. It can bring guys where they need to go. The vibration's a little weird too, but the anal is perfect, I'll tell you that. If you want a little bit more info, Motor Bunny is the competitor, and they have Do It on a Bunny. Just search that on YouTube. I guarantee you it's worth the trip.
So wait, when you go into this thing, whatever it is, like, are there people just sitting there watching you? Like, there people watching your wife or girlfriend like have an orgasm on this thing, like, or you, or like what? I don't.
They absolutely could. It's a swingers club, so they could consent to join in. But at this point, at the point we went in, it was kind of empty. I think that's why I got Crises on the Sybian, because it was empty. There was only like one attendant there who didn't really look like she wanted to be there, so whatever.
Anyone trying to race you?
Yeah, but no, it's basically, it's literally a swingers club. It's a sex club.
Yeah. Yes.
You go there, you get consent, and you go to town.
God damn. You're the man, Crumb. JD.
I appreciate it so much.
JD.
Thank you so much, dude. It's always a blast talking to you. Where can we really find you?
This is becoming quarterly, and I really love it. Let's keep this up.
I was gonna say you're definitely gonna be a regular.
Hell yeah. So where can folks find me? The easiest place is www.gettingcasual.com, and that has links to my Twitter, all my socials, all my adult stuff as well. If you're looking for it, it's all at gettingcasual.com.
www.gettingcasual.com.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend. We will talk soon, dude.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so very much. You have a wonderful evening.
You have a better one, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.